On behalf of myself, Mayor of the City of Westminster, and our council, Mr. Whitson and Dennis Frazier with me today, and former Mayor Kevin Dayhoff, the history of the City of Westminster goes on, and all of these folks are going to be part of the history that goes down in our books, and Kevin certainly has played a part in that as well. Today's events is a celebration of the history of our city, our families, our architectural founding, and you. So enjoy the colonial era games, which I've already started playing, replicating what children in the 1700s likely played right here in this town. Take a guided walking tour with our knowledgeable docents who will enlighten you about Westminster as it was. And sit back and enjoy the lively music of the Westminster Municipal Band, who has always treated us well, and they'll be with you later on today. For those of you interested in walking tours, please gather at the steps in front of the building where those docents will be leaving every 30 minutes. Now, hopefully you will have a set of rain gear or umbrella with you. So thank you for attending our block party, and if you have any questions, let me see the hands of the city staff so everybody knows where you are, city staff. And these folks will help you and answer questions that they know. And we also have very knowledgeable people up here. So I wish you have lots of fun today, and let us know if we can serve you in any way. Oh. There are other history here, and maybe they can come up and join us, and I forgot this part, but Marianne Kelly, where are you?
Yay.
Come up here.
Yay.
Doris Hall,
So happy.
come with her. No. Oh, come up here. All right, Marianne Kelly.
Right.
She worked for the City of Westminster for 44 years. So you can almost imagine what kind of things she has seen through her lifetime here, and hoping that we have carried on the traditions. Do you want to say anything?
No, not really.
Okay. Doris Hall.
That's me.
She worked here for 9 years, and combined they have, what, 56 years or so?
53 years.
53.
Yeah.
So the history of Westminster is about our employee family and you as our citizens. So I do want to thank you. Is there any other ones out here? I know we have staff here, some having at least 30 plus years as well. So we have a lot of history. That man standing right there with his head down, he doesn't want to be seen. Mr. Wayne. I've been told by our staff that when Mr. Wayne leaves in retirement, he will be coming back for us. So he's got a lot of history of what we do in the city. So anyhow, thank you very much and enjoy yourself.
Today we're here to celebrate the Sestercentennial, or the 250th anniversary of the City of Westminster. And around us going on is a plethora of children's activities. We felt that it was important to expose the children that are here today to activities and games that children would have played long ago, around the time that this great city was laid out. So we have kids making hats out of newspaper. We have children replicating an old toy called a buzzsaw. We have quill pens and ink available for the kids to write, and we also have a giant birthday card that they can sign with a quill pen for the City of Westminster. In addition to that, we have several other larger games going on where they can roll hoops, do a ring toss, practice fishing with a bamboo pole. They can play jacks and marbles, and endeavor into a bunch of other children's games that from long ago.
Thank you.
Have you
paper hat. Okay. Here's one. Now I'm still learning, so we're gonna have.
For a second so you can see how cool it is. Okay.
I bring greetings to the citizens of Westminster, Maryland, from the 18th century. My name is William Winchester, and I cannot say how pleased I am to return to the town I first laid out in 1764. I really appreciate what you've done with the place. For those of you who were around 250 years ago, please indulge me as I share a bit of history with those who were not. I was born in the original Westminster in the middle of London in December of 1711. I enjoyed a good upbringing, but my parents both died of the plague when I was but a teen, and in the crowded England of the day, my prospects were limited. Thus it was that I found the allure of the New World irresistible, particularly when I heard of the beauty of Maryland from agents of Lord Baltimore. To pay for my passage across the Atlantic, I signed a 5-year indenture with Dr. George Buchanan, and I arrived in Annapolis when I was but 19 years of age. Dr. Buchanan was a fair and good man to apprentice for, and as I was literate, he put me to work overseeing one of his plantations in northern Baltimore County. Using the experience I gained in my indenture, I was able to clear and cultivate an unoccupied plot of ground, and in 1744 obtained a warrant for 50 acres in Dug Hill, between the branches of Pipe Creek and Gunpowder Falls, east of the Wagon Road, leading from Patapsco to Conewago, which I called Winchester's Lot. 2 years later, I was able to patent another 50 acres close by, and the next year, when I was 36, I married my neighbor and darling wife, Lydia. Together, we laboriously cleared the dense and rocky forest, farmed the land, and began to raise our family. Life on the frontier was hard. We dwelt in rude log huts we managed to erect. Mills to grind our grain and stores to purchase supplies were few and far between. Even when the land turned bountiful, we could scarcely prosper from commerce due to the lack of roads. Thankfully, the few remaining Aboriginal Susquehannocks departed as more English settlers began arriving, so we did not contend overly much with them. I shan't bore you with the details, but through perfectly legal means, I was able to acquire much of the vacant land adjacent to my property, and by 1752, Winchester's Lot had grown from 100 to 973 acres. However, within 2 years, tension between the English and French escalated to armed conflict. This later became known as the French and Indian War, and I served in the Maryland militia as a company clerk. War was not a suitable environment for our growing family. We had 7 children by the time the war concluded, and thus Lydia and I decided to quit Dug Hill and move west. I purchased 167 acres known as White's Level on the western slope of Parr's Ridge in neighboring Frederick County at the headwaters of Patapsco Falls and Little Pipe Creek. And there I continued my avocation of patenting, purchasing, and selling plots of land, acquiring tracts to which I assigned various names such as Little Britain, Pomerania, Prussia, Florida, and Mesopotamia. In 1760, I built my homestead in the Tidewater tradition, which I understand is still standing in your present age and occupied by an organization with the confounding name of Target. 4 years later, recognizing the value of selling lots along the Pipe Creek Road leading to Baltimore Town, I laid out a 16-acre piece of ground in 45 lots arranged to each side of the main road, which I named King Street. I also included some crossing streets, such as Church Street and Bishop Alley and Store Alley, which I understand is now called Ralph Street. By 1768, upon the completion of the sale or leasing of all of these lots, I recorded the Plan of Westminster, named after the town of my birth. I do wish to make it clear that although it was sometimes called Winchester Town, this was a name applied by others without my urging. I have heard that in 1819, long after I departed this material realm, the Maryland General Assembly passed an act officially incorporating the town under the name of Westminster, while also including within its limits the adjacent towns of New London and Winter's addition to Westminster. I am given to understand that the town has continued to prosper and expand its boundaries in the subsequent eras. I did retain one of the lots in town and tried my hand at running a shop, but my heart was always taken with the speculation of buying and selling of land, and after a few years, it was to this I returned. I also became politically active in fighting against the unfair oppression of King George, though I was, of course, too old to fight in the Revolution. For that duty, I relied upon my sons. I died in 1790 at the age of 79, bequeathing the majority of my estate to Lydia and to our sons and daughters, of whom we had 10. My dear Lydia died 18 years later at the age of 81, and now rests beside me in Westminster Cemetery near the site of the old Union Church. And now, before I return to my place of rest, I would like to stroll this Emerald Hill and enjoy the view of those lots I laid out so long ago. I thank you for your attention to my ruminations, and I wish you all the best of fortune in the next 250 years.